Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the golden child, or what I oftentimes refer to as the idealized self or the ideal self, all wrapped up into one little bow. Watch this video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new, please click the little subscribe button, the bell to receive notifications when I release new videos. And if you've been with me for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. I want to jump right in today because I've had a bunch of clients this week and a few new ones who are always talking about the same thing. This collective consciousness is no joke. It is always this same topic or the same issue or the same aha experience, and I just couldn't say more about how awesome and sort of magical this is. So it tells me that this is the new content that needs to go out. So thank you guys for all your amazing content that you give me in sessions. And I want to go deeper with it. And so if you don't know what a golden child is, it's often when you grow up in an emotionally immature home or a narcissistic family. And they'll pick a scapegoat, a golden child, the lost child, the unloved child, right? And the golden child is the one that attaches to the parent by becoming what the parent wants them to be. So they have a false security of this attachment. They have all this pressure on them to be the golden child, to achieve, to look perfect, to basically get rid of their true self, their authenticity, and think that the golden self that I create is actually the right one because this is the one that gets me approved of and loved by my parents. And think of all the pressure. All the pressure. I talk to golden children a lot and they say, God, my whole life, like they have eating disorders, they have all these things to stay perfect, to get that validation and approval from parent or society at large. And they oftentimes forget who they truly are. Forget, because it's so buried. It's so far in the shadow, right? If you do my shadow work course, the golden shadow, we need to talk about this. The golden shadow, but also the dark shadow. It's so important when we look at these dynamics. If you haven't done my emotional rehab course, I should say it is still open for enrollment. We will be talking all about the ideal self and the real self. I want to talk about this here. When you're a golden child, you've basically obliterated your true self because it's not enough in your mind. That's the person that needs to do the shadow work, right? The other person that needs to do shadow work is the scapegoat child because they think they're all bad and they need to discover their golden shadow. So everyone needs shadow work, but this person who's in this role of golden will be the trophy wife, will be the star everything, right? And they have to be, because without it, they fear death. Literally. They think without it, I don't know who I am, and then the truth of who I am that I've buried so deep inside might come out and then everyone will see the truth of me, right? So I talk about this in a lot in my emotional rehab course because a lot of people who are also scapegoated create this ideal self. This ideal self, the ones that couldn't be the golden child create an ideal version of self to run away from being the scapegoat, oftentimes. So this ideal self is, what should I be rather than what am I? What should I think? What should I like? What should I wear? And we measure that on societal ideals most of the time. These measures. Oh, I should weigh this. Oh, I should look like this. Oh, I should be this tan. Oh, I should get this kind of house. I should have this kind of job. I should go to this Ivy League school. I should marry this kind of guy or this kind of girl. The shoulds take over the truth. And the way that I love to share the healing journey with people is to get real about how you feel. This is the only way we can have clarity, spiritual clarity. We can have clarity on the truth of who we are is by being honest. And people who are addicted to being the golden child or in the ideal self are having major issues with their vulnerability, are having major issues being honest because their version of honesty is this is what the perfect person would say. This is what the most ideal person would think, right? And so one way that we can break this down, and by the way, I want to just say, if you're in an ideal self or you're fighting for that golden self in your life, the golden child that you were, I want you to know it's okay. The reason you did it is to form some type of secure attachment with a parent so you could feel like I know how to always make them happy, always approve of me. It's manipulation and control that we don't know we're doing. I'm going to control the situation. Then you have control issues because you think you have to control every situation to be loved. You're doing it to have a secure sense of self and sense of goodness. Because if you don't have that, you fall into the shame of or the uncertainty of knowing who you really are. And let me tell you, that's painful, right? So the reason you're doing it makes a lot of sense. But once you know better and you start doing the inner work, you can start taking that pressure off yourself to have to control your freaking surroundings. To have to, cater to certain people in a certain way to make them react a certain way. It's exhausting. I was just talking to one of my groups this morning about redefining success. Instead of having to achieve constantly to know I'm enough externally, I just already am enough, so what would I want to do? We're so afraid to be the authentic self and leave the ideal or the golden self behind. The golden child becomes the ideal version, right? We're so afraid to leave it behind because what if the truth of who I am isn't enough and really isn't lovable and really won't get me approved of or feel safe or secure or attached? What if? And what I want to let you know as someone who actually did that journey and really did own the truth of who she is, it's far better because what happens is you stop denying yourself. You stop rejecting, abandoning, and avoiding the truth of you just to measure up what others might like so you can feel that external validation of self that is so dependent on others. The internal validation of self is, I'm unconditional, I love myself anyway because I know God made me this way, universe, whatever you want to call it. And I came here into a very conditional world to be unconditional, which is the hardest thing in the world because most people are conditional. And when I'm unconditional with myself, guess what? I don't worry about fitting in things because I realize if I fit in there, I'm probably denying a part of myself because we are not born to fit places. We're born to be different to make a difference. But society tells us if you don't fit in, there's something wrong with you. We naturally become ideal versions of ourselves. We naturally want to be the golden child. And those of us who are highly sensitive oftentimes can't be the golden child because we cannot deny the truth that we feel. And if you were like me as a kid and a warrior with your truth, you'll let everybody know, I see the truth. And they may think you're crazy and they may punish you for that because they don't want to look at the truth. But the reality is you can't deny the truth when you're so connected to the sensitivity in you. And this is what makes it so hard for highly sensitive people is we literally can't deny what the truth is for us. And when others try to make us do that, we start to gaslight ourselves and deny ourselves and doubt ourselves until we realize we really can't. We really have to take away all this shame we've built up around our truth being wrong. Wrong according to who? So peeling these layers of this ideal version of self is so liberating but scary at the same time. I talk to so many golden child people who start to outgrow that because they start to realize the dynamic they came from. And they're like, well, shit, I just want to be me, but I don't know what that is. And I say, just know it's as good or better, but it's going to feel different. And you might feel alone. You might not fit in with that group that you tried to get approval from your whole damn life, but you may fit in with you. And when you fit in with you, guess what happens? You find where you fit in the world. Maybe not in the family or in that group over there or in this definition of something, but you find your place in the world when you find your place within. So, you guys, for more on this, please check my emotional rehab program. It is the first place to start. If you've done that, dive into shadow work. We're enrolling right now. And other than that, if you want to work on this one-on-one or in a really tiny group, join my inner work group. We're starting again in October. I'm really excited. These groups have been mind-blowing for massive shifts within 8 weeks. By the 4 or 5 week time, by the 4th or 5th week in the 8-week program, people are blowing my mind. So check out inner work if you haven't yet. Please share this. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I really appreciate you. And I will see you guys next week.